Well, I'm still streaming. You can see chat right now, YouTube people. But hey, John Smith posted code leak. Let's fucking go, chat. 6.1. I was fucking correct. I was correct about the pacing. I was correct. I'm fucking correct. Alright. Ends with Koji using GPS spot surround. So they're okay. I knew it. I knew they're gonna end it somewhere that's gonna be a good cliffhanger. Shit. Okay. Good. KOENJI mountain climb was cool. Fight in 5.3 was well animated and enjoyable with fluid movement as he dodges, trips, throws, and knees his opponents. Okay. Let me see here. Surprised it looks good. The PV was just stills apart from the climbing. In the episode right after those stills, it goes on like a side view of KOENJI and the fight, and that's when it moves well. Okay. Released your leaks for the episode after this one. I desperately need to know about Ryuin's fight. Well then. Like I said, this is gonna end in chapter 6.1. I was so certain it was gonna end on chapter 6.1 because seeing the is the action longer for KOENJI than the Nanse versus Koji? Let me double check. How's this guy having this info? So obviously they're not gonna say, but yeah. So mostly Yap, and then yeah, it's gonna be longer. Now don't worry, it's not 3 seconds, Shinji. It's longer than the Nanase versus Ayanokouji, unless okay. Let me explain the fight scene of KOENJI. It's not really a fight scene. It's more on an action chase scene. KOENJI is on the run doing tasks, and then the third years are gonna obviously surround him. But unfortunately for the third years, KOENJI is a fucking gorilla. That's why I said action. Yeah. I don't consider this as a fight scene per se because many people say it's a fight scene, but obviously we all know how action scenes or fight scenes work in Clash of Daily. It's mostly like a one-sided fight. It's always like that. The fight scenes in Clash of Daily are mostly one-sided fight, just like in Ayanokouji versus Ryu and his group, Ayanokouji versus Nanse, and then KOENJI against the third years. But the next action though, which is Ryuin, is gonna be good because it's the next episode, which is episode 15, is gonna start off with an action scene, a fight scene. Actually, it's a full-on fight scene. So expect something, because it's gonna be much better than the KOENJI fight. Because the KOENJI fight is just, I guess you can say it's short, but it's not as short as the Nanase fight because they have like a breather. When KOENJI jumps into a task, the third years are gonna be there, surrounding him, and then, he passes through them, so they can't do shit about KOENJI. He moves on, and they're gonna chase after him again. Another thing. So, yeah, that's pretty much what's happening with the KOENJI action bit. All right. So yeah, after that, no more like action scenes, fight scenes, because it's gonna be the plan to surround Ayanokouji. The second half. So okay, so based on this pacing, all right, based on this pacing from the leaker John Smith. Oh, they moved it. They moved scenes. So they did chapter 6 first, and then 5.7, then 6. Good. They moved it for better narrative. Good. Judging from the famous illustration I saw. Okay. I think it's pretty obvious who's gonna fight. Yeah. I guess it is pretty obvious. Take a guess, Shinji. Because this is pretty much a spoiler video for the YouTube people. But yeah, as I was saying, I was correct about the pacing, and seeing the narrative of the light novel, it says there in the light novel. Let's go back in time to the first years talking yada yada. So I was correct that they're gonna switch up the pacing there in the anime, because the light novel is just doing the scenes and then, oh wait, pause, let's go back in time, boom. Yeah, anyway, they set it up, you can say, in episode 1. Yeah, they did. Yeah. So yeah, you pretty much guessed it. For people that are excited for the Ryuin fight scene, it's not gonna be in this episode, alright? The Ryuin fight scene is gonna be in the next episode, which is episode 15. I was correct about the pacing. And for the people that are complaining about the pacing of the light novel or the anime, it's the same as the light novel. Don't you dare complain about the pacing of the anime, because it's similar to the light novel. Very similar to the light novel. The light novel pretty much established everything from the start, right? That's why many people got bored. But the payoff here is that we're getting a slight payoff, which is in episode 12, a slight payoff again in episode 14. And then 15 and 16 were going to be all the payoffs that we've been established since episode, was it? I guess you can consider 5, but yeah, 6. 6 all the way to episode 11. So yeah, and then more setups in, yeah, 13. The Ichika scene will happen in episode 15. It's, wait, hold on, let me check again. Okay. The Ichika scene will probably be in 16. Yeah, episode 16. So the Ichika scene, the Ichika fight scene, will be in episode 16. Oh damn! Now that I looked on the volume 4, episode 15 is gonna be hype. Not because of Ryuin, but also because of Ayanokouji. There's moments of Ryuin, there's moments of Ayanokouji. That's why I'm really excited for episode 15. Episode 16 is Ichika, and obviously the final fight. That's pretty much the pacing. So if you're complaining that, oh, they're showcasing a lot in only 1 or 2 episodes, bro, that's in the light novel. The light novel literally stated everything, like, on that point. Because if you saw the pacing, alright? If you saw the pacing of the light novel and you saw the pacing of the anime, it's now day 11. They ended the day in day 11. When does the test last? Day 14. 2 weeks. So obviously, the chaos will start in day 12, day 13, day 14. All the way to the end. We're now done with pretty much the calm before the storm episodes, because this is pretty much the start of the chaos. The pure chaos of the island exam arc. So, don't you dare complain, light novel fans, about the pacing right now. Because many people were complaining that, oh, there's so many things happening in just 1 or 2 episodes. Because that is the point. That is the point of the episodes. Because they are establishing it from the get-go. And now that we've reached this point, they're going to show it in just 1 episode, obviously. Because it's the payoff. But obviously, they're also showing other payoffs in that certain episode as well. Because it's basically in the same pacing as the light novel. So if you want something that's like, oh, we need highlighted moments of each episode, you can't do that with Classroom of the Elite. It's the same thing with Steins Gate. You cannot rest because of the pure chaos happening each episode in the second half. But yeah, will they skip 4.5 in season 5? No, they're not gonna skip 4.5. I'm pretty sure they're not gonna skip that. I think it's gonna be the secret project, but who knows? Because the director and the staff mentioned a secret project for Classroom of the Elite. So yeah, it's not a light novel. It's not something that they would announce if it's not an anime. So yeah, the secret project is gonna be an anime. So I guess it's gonna be season 5, but who knows? Now that we know the pacing of season 4, only adapting 4 volumes in 16 episodes, it's actually insane that we've reached this point for Clash of the Elite, because we've never had this much faithful, good adaptation. and changing things up for the better narrative. And even though some didn't like it, but most people do. Anyway, I hope they skip the opening and ending. They're not. They're not gonna. Yeah, they're not gonna skip the opening in this episode as well as the ED. I'm pretty certain now that I'm seeing the leak, because the leaker would have said that if. Yeah. Anyway, the opening and ending is still there in the episode, so yeah, I expected that, so I can play my own opening. But I think they can skip the opening for episode 15 and 16. Because everything will happen in 15 and 16. We have Ryuen and Ayanokouji moments in episode 15. We have Ichika and Ayanokouji moments and Ichinose moments in episode 16. Because you guys remember what happened at the end of Volume 3 of Ichinose in episode 12 with Tsukishiro eavesdropping. So yeah, that's gonna pay off as well in episode 16. So yeah. Anyway, wait, was it episode 16? I think it's episode 15. But yeah, anyway, besides that, we'll see though. We'll see how they handle the pacing, because in the light novel it's pretty much convoluted. They're like, oh, let's go back in time. Let's see what's happening in this area, and then let's go back to the present. So yeah, that's what's happening in the light novel, and the anime is fixing things up. So I'm guessing if that's what they're doing, all right, I think they will move if they want to. They can move the Ichika scene in episode 15 and the Ayanokouji scene again in episode 16. So yeah, Ayanokouji moments. So yeah, but maybe, yeah, I don't think they will though, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm glad that I was right about my pacing assumption of this episode, because it's a good ending. It's a good end to end it in 6.1. So yeah, chapter 6.1 is pretty much an establishment cliffhanger. Good way to do a cliffhanger for that certain moment before things get intense. So yeah. Anyway, that is pretty much it for this leak. They're not posting the staff list. So anyway, that is pretty much it, YouTube people. So I hope you all are still excited for this episode, because this is gonna be KOENJI's moment. But after that, it's gonna be mostly first year students ganging up on Ayanokouji. Obviously their plan, because they set it up in episode 11, the sacrificed episode, and episode 12. So yeah, I do hope you're still excited for that setup, because Ayanokouji's plans as well throughout the episodes, teaming up with Sakayanagi, teaming up with Ryuen and Ichinose. You guys have to remember that we have a lot of establishments, so the payoff will be in episode 15 and 16. So yeah, if the first years are ganging up on Ayanokouji has something up his sleeve. So yeah, anyway, that is pretty much it for this video of the leak. I for one though am glad they didn't cut that part up, because it's a good thing that they're not cutting scenes, especially interaction scenes, for Ayanokouji, because it shows that the reason why they added that scene is because Ayanokouji is now like, a hot topic after the math perfect score exam. Obviously he's gonna be famous, he's gonna be popular, and so Matsushita being there talking to him as well, and because she knows about his capabilities, that's a good thing, for anime onlys as well, to see that, Ayanokouji is now the star of instead of being the background character, he's now the main character of the school. So yeah, anyway, that is pretty much it for this leak. I hope you all are still excited for the KOENJI scene, because I am. It's gonna be the highlight of the episode, although I'm really excited about the cliffhanger as well. Yeah, anyway.